Madam Deputy Speaker, we are here today because the can has been kicked down the road too many times in the past, especially since February 19. We are here because trillions of rand borrowed by our government since 2013 have gone to waste. If we borrow more, it will be irresponsible. Today, we face a situation where the country pays interest of 8.5 billion rand per week on our debt at between 9% and 10%. Taking on any more debt will be a burden on future generations. We must make our choices within the money that is available. But the biggest problem we have is the composition of our expenditure. We spend too much on salaries, too much paying for debt, and too little on investment into the economy. The Department of Health only spends 5% of its budget on capital expenditure. The Department of Education only 4%. That means we are asking fellow South Africans to wait longer for services they deserve. South Africans have been bled dry. They cannot afford any more taxes. They are angry because on a daily basis they see people who steal and waste government money walking around without being arrested. Just last week we were in Buffalo City on oversight. 57 million rand has been spent on a swimming pool so far, but it is still not working. Instead, it must be dug up and built again at a cost to taxpayers. In the OR Tambo district where I come from, we see the same patterns. South Africans still waiting for clean running water, even though there are taps installed. We saw a dam project on which hundreds of millions have been spent, but there is still no dam and no water. We found the same pattern of mismanagement with suppliers being paid for work that till today has not produced the desired result. The painful thing is that the people of South Africa have no choice but to put more money into the projects because we cannot tolerate that there are South Africans who have no access to clean water. It is a painful insult to us South Africans to pay twice, 3 or 4 times what they should have paid less for. Honorable Deputy President, surely, we can work together to find between 20 billion and 30 billion minimum in savings in the medium term, surely. But that means we must work together between now and October to start producing results from next year. South Africans cannot afford to bleed any more money. They don't have it. If we take the experience seriously, then we must use the next 30 days to find alternatives to VAT and personal income tax increases. We will certainly make detailed submissions in the respect so that we can finalize this budget. Therefore, we will vote for the adoption of this report.
The Honourable Maimane.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I think it's common cause. Today we're not being asked to make an easy decision. We've been asked to make a responsible and a decision that serves the people of this country, not court processes, not political processes, but the people's processes. And therefore, fellow South Africans, it's not a choice between good or bad. It's a choice between worse or much worse. Delaying today will have the economic impact that we are beginning to see. Therefore, as BOSA, I come here today to say we are here to ensure the passing of this fiscal framework so that we can deal with the issues that sit within this budget. I've said it and I will say it again. This is not a good budget. Otherwise, all of us would accept it easily. But Parliament has the duty to amend it. That is a punishment on people for state capture. Therefore, let's use the next while to find alternative revenue mechanisms. And part of those revenue mechanisms, honorable members, pertain to saying, can we declare gambling as a sin tax so that we can raise the appropriate revenue through that whole process? Our budget suffers because it tells the people we have 1.8% growth. We need more growth, not less. And it's a fictitious number. So I'm here to make some proposals. Minister of Finance, as you know, I've engaged you on this issue. I think we can support transformation, but let's ensure that the 20 billion rands allocated to the NEF can be staggered over the medium term, because if we do that, we can find the reduction in expenditure to ameliorate the VAT needs that we are putting on the table. Secondly, I think we need to strike a deal with one of our trading partners, which is the USA, so that we can increase the growth capital formation in this country. Thirdly, let us fund not only SARS, but let's fund the NPA and SIU so that those who stole the money can end up in jail and we can solve the revenue question. Lastly, let us fix municipalities. That's why, as the Appropriations Committee, our supporters, BOSA, says we will be going to the Appropriations Committee to deal with the expenditure issues and to amend the budget that has been put before us. I say, honorable members, it's not a blank check. If we don't do these amendments in the next 30 days, we cannot support the appropriations bill, we cannot support the division of revenue. Our job is to find
Honourable
growth
Maimane, your
mechanisms
time has
so that
expired.
we deal with this budget. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Marawu.
Siyakunika agriculture. Even he's spending because he's going to get machine.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The African Transformation Movement rejects 2025 fiscal framework and revenue proposals. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the ATM unequivocally stands against any tax increases. Raising taxes in the current economic climate will place an additional burden on already struggling households and businesses. South Africans are grappling with high unemployment, rising living costs, and economic stagnation. Increasing taxes will only stifle economic growth, discourage investment, and further push vulnerable communities into financial distress. Instead of extracting more from taxpayers, the government must focus on an efficient revenue collections, cutting wasteful expenditure, and eliminating corruption to maximize existing resources. Focusing on the business of the day, a budget that prioritizes the needs of the many over the privileges of the few must be our guiding principles. The continued allocation of over 30 billion in medical aid tax credits disproportionately benefits the middle class, while our public health care systems remains underfunded. It does not make sense to subsidize private health care while provinces are forced to implement hiring freezes, compromising service delivery in our hospitals and clinics. This is an injustice that we cannot ignore. These funds should be redirected to strengthening our public healthcare infrastructure, ensuring that all South Africans, regardless of income, have access to quality healthcare. Honorable members, we are deeply concerned about the increasing push for public-private partnership at the local government level, often without transparency on their financial implications. Initiatives like Operation Vulindlela are being promoted with little evidence, modeling, or clear results on their long-term impact. PPPs often obscure debt obligations and expose critical services such as water and electricity to cost escalation that makes our people more vulnerable, and they are unaffordable for our people. If we are to pursue such partnerships, there must be full disclosure and public scrutiny to prevent unintended consequences that disproportionately affect the poor. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we stand at a crossroads. South Africa's fiscal framework must be one that serves its people equitably. We cannot continue with policies that entrench inequality while millions struggle to access basic services. The ATM calls for a budget that prioritizes
Member, your time has expired.
wasteful expenditure. We do not adopt the report. Thank you.
The Honourable Makubela.